Hey, hey, hey! It is Monday night, so that means it is Monday Night Roll-Off. Um, Welcome everyone. Everyone who's checking this out. It's been a fun night. I wanted to do this a little earlier, but I got signed up for League. I gotta turn the volume down on this music. It is a little too loud for my concentration. I hope that people can still hear it. Okay. Yeah, so tonight was fun. I ended up subbing for a friend in the Monday Night League that I've told you about before, where it was really like the first league that I had the opportunity to bowl in Western Mass. And I still really kind of didn't have my act together at that point yet. So I would, so the first time I bowled in that league, I really did terrible and embarrassed myself, and it wasn't the best thing ever. But now I've been picking things up. I've been on a pretty good tear lately, to be honest. If you saw my story or one of my posts, I actually threw a new high game, 276 with Dark Knight, aka Duca. So that was pretty awesome. But tonight, I really was kind of feeling out the ball a little bit. The conditions on the lane weren't exactly perfect for it, but I still managed to pull things around. The first game, I think, was only like a 170 something, but then I threw a 244, I think, and then a 213. So keeping up in those twos, if I was in a tournament, be pretty decent plus there. So yeah, that's really good. I'm really liking the ball. It's doing really good. I'm very excited because I'm going to be launching a video that's a ball review of it sometime this week. I'm thinking Wednesday, depending how things go, and just kind of one of those videos that when I'm making it, I'm really enjoying it. I'm thinking to myself, this is good content, right? Because you have to have good content in this thing that I'm doing, whatever it is, talking about bowling and stuff. But so I think that's going to be pretty cool. Something about Dark Knight that I think is so fascinating is just how much a ball really does change reaction and how much it affects things. I'm not a hard cranker. I'm not a hard thrower. I don't put a ton of revs on the ball, but Dark Knight really turns the corner for me, and it's really good, and I'm liking it a lot. I also wanted to sort of dive into throwing a new high game, which was really exciting. 276 is basically all strikes except for an 8 spare, and then the final frame I threw an 8. So I went front 6, and it was so funny because it was the second game I was throwing Dark Knight, and as I've been talking about, I've been so excited about this ball, especially because it's an overseas ball, and it's unique, and it's my ball, and it's really interesting like that. And so I just kept thinking to myself how funny it would be that to get this ball and throw my first 300 with it. It was the funniest thought in my head. It was really hilarious. But and also I'll tell you the truth, and this is not insecurity talking. This is me being realistic. I'm not sure I'll ever throw a 300, maybe. And I only say that because it takes a certain level of not getting nervous and real consistency to kind of get there. I will say after that game on I threw the 276 this past Friday, and after throwing it, it definitely feels a lot more doable. But there's just something about the anxiety that must overwhelm you while you're doing it that seems like a major hurdle, and so I don't care. Like, I just don't care. It's not something I'm necessarily aiming for. My goals are always very small, and I think something that I have that's very different from a lot of people in this game is that I have kind of like a weird background. I think a lot of bowlers are sort of blue collar or they've just been into bowling. They're sort of mono focused on it, and they have been for a really long time. I think my friend Rob, who I always talk about, Rob Green, who's a 3-time NEBA champion up here. He's been bowling since he was, 6. Or another new friend that I'm making, Dennis Bissonette, who almost won his second NEBA title yesterday, which was really exciting to be able to watch someone on Facebook Live and cheer for your friends and stuff like that. That's pretty awesome. But he's been bowling since he was 3, so I just think there's there's a certain type of person who finds their way to the higher echelons of bowling. Most people, most league bowlers are not that stupendous, and the ones that are, it's a very small sliver, even though I think it's bigger than what I remember when I was younger. But anyways, I digress. But so most of their backgrounds are pretty similar, and I think mine's a little bit different because I have a background in spirituality and Buddhism and mindful, mentality sort of work and things like that, and self-help. And so for me, I tend not to have the same goals as most bowlers. I want to throw a 300. I want to throw an 800 series. I want to do this and that. My goals are really, really small. It's doing something in repetition with such exactness that it's just pure repetition, and losing myself in that moment. Like tonight, when I was throwing the 240 game, another bowler on the team that I was bowling on, he was also doing very well. I think he ended up throwing a 260 or 250 something. And it's just interesting because he's getting sort of jittery and he's talking to his friends and he's doing whatever. And I start meditating. Like when I bowl, I meditate a lot. I just stare down the lane, and not as I'm going to throw. Like when I'm sitting back in the seats, I just kind of stare off into the void and just start focusing on my breathing, and don't even necessarily have any thoughts about bowling going on. Maybe I'll try to think about lane adjustments and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm pretty nonchalant and calm about it. And so that's something about meditation that I think is really useful. It's about getting focused on just your breath, on that little moment of just your breath, of sensing the breath leave and go out and come back, and really focusing on that and making it be something you make happen over and over and over again. And that's my goal, is to walk up to the approach the same way, pull out my towel the same way, grab my ball with my towel the same way, clean it the same way, put the towel back, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, I just think I have a different mentality, but I think I don't know. I think it could benefit some people. So we'll see. We'll see as I sort of go down this journey and become a coach, which is of course what I want this to turn into, is into coaching and teaching and talking about it more. And that's the point of doing this Instagram stuff and doing the videos and everything. I just want to educate. I don't think I'm necessarily currently the most informed person, but I'm certainly learning a lot, and I like sharing it. And so we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited about that. The thing I really wanted to talk about tonight is it's almost like a high quality problem that I've reached into. It's very funny that I've actually hit this point, which is that I think I have too many bowling balls, and I think I have too many good bowling balls. I've been in this argument with Rob, because Rob is my coach in a certain way. He's one of my coaches, I'd say. Rob is a coach. Alan's one of my coaches. Dennis is one of my coaches. Cliff Wheelock is one of my coaches. So I take a lot of advice from a lot of places, which I think is really been part of my success and stuff. But so, Rob is trying to convince me to keep one of my balls that I think I don't need. So just to review my bag, at the top of the bag is Global Reality and Global Reality Dark Knight. Those are kind of like the two prime balls that I use. Both asymmetrical cores, except one is a solid and one is a pearl. So that's that. For those, both super high hook potentials. Cover stock changes the length. Next below that is Zardoz, the UFO Alert, which is a hybrid, also an asymmetrical core. Great hook potential, but because of the hybrid, it grabs a little bit early, but not as early as a solid. Below my next ball down, and this is the ball that's in question, is a Storm Dark Code. The Dark Code, which is Atom Smasher. Atom Smasher I got on my birthday last year in August, and it was really before I kind of was knowledgeable and knew what was going on and stuff like that. And so, like, Atom Smasher, I almost got when I didn't understand what a bag needed and how things related to each other. And also, I could have bought any ball. I thought it was cool. Like, that's why I bought it. I also was really watching a lot of Kyle and Brad videos who are Storm guys, and Darren Tang, who's a Storm guy. And so I would, like, this ball was coming out and they were talking about it. And so it's just like coming together. But again, I didn't know. But a Dark Code is a pearl that has a really high diff, but its RG is like not necessarily as high as the UFO Alert. So it's kind of like weird numbers in comparison to the other ones, right? Next is Trinity, which is my Storm Phase 3 symmetrical hybrid. Next below that is my Hammer Black Raw, which is a solid, symmetrical, but like really a strong solid, like Hammer Raw, like everyone. That's such a classic ball that I think so many people have in their bags and stuff. After that is Hustle Trav, the Hustle RAP, which is a pearl symmetrical, but it has a very weak hook potential. It's my go-to ball for almost every situation except for heavy oil, and it just when a lane is creamed, like when it is dust, that Hustle will just get it. It just gets it. It's such a good ball. I love that ball so much. And then after that is a urethane that I have in my bag, a pitch black ebony, which I honestly usually don't even bring with me to tournaments and stuff, which I kind of maybe need to reconsider. But anyways, so this argument that I'm in with Rob right now is that this is what I've been finding with the ball, with the Dark Code, which is the problem in my bag. So the Dark Code is sold to go really long and snap, like have a really strong snap, right? But it goes really long. But what I keep finding with Dark Code is that it just slides into like the 3-pin, and it just never turns the corner. Now, when I first got Dark Code, and maybe it's just my way of throwing has changed, and so that's why this is different, right? So when I first got Dark Code, I was way more on the right, and I bowled a way more inside line, and like a 10 and 10 line. And so Dark Code on oil, when I was going 10 and 10, would go straight and then like turn that angle, boop, like that. Like, so I'm not gonna try selling it like that's not a good angle for it, but now that I work the inside line, so it's so funny. I don't know my arrows anymore. I just know I throw it at 8 from the left side of the lane. But I want to say it's like 20 to 8, right? So I think that's the line that I basically work now. It just never makes it around. I worry that it's because it loses too much on the front end. Like it loses a bunch on the front end because it has that super high RG, right? So it's trying to turn, but because it's so long and because I'm throwing it so angularly, right, up the lane, it just never grabs it. Now, if the lane falls off a little bit and it shortens up, then it could turn that corner. But the problem is that where my bag starts with UFO alert, and then where it goes next with with Dark Knight and everything, those balls go long, but their snap is incredible. Like UFO has a great snap to it, but I've noticed sometimes it doesn't necessarily get it. But the snap on Dark Knight it's magical. It is so good. So like the issue is that like that snap isn't there for so as the lanes dry up, and then let's say it's coming across the head too much for Dark Knight or for UFO alert, well then like I don't want to go to a ball that's going to go long and snap hard again. It seems like it's overlapping, so then I tend to go to the phase 3, which is a symmetrical. So it doesn't have that. It stays in the oil longer in the front, and then it topples over because it's symmetrical and it's a hybrid, and so that's going to get the snap back again, but go longer if the front part of the lanes are drying up and the dark code would just slide through it, especially since it's a pearl. So I don't really know what's going to happen. Rob has convinced me that he can save the ball, and then it can be a step down from Trinity, from the phase 3. And so tonight we were working with pads. This is a part of the game that I do not understand about using scouring pads and sanding a ball down and working with the finish and stuff like that. So this may just be an exercise, but like it's a great exercise. So I'm really grateful for that. And so even more so is if this ball if I don't want to keep Atom Smasher, the Dark Code, what I'm really excited about is I'm going to go to one of the youth leagues in the area, and I'm going to donate a ball to one of the kids there. And this is a big deal for me because when I was a youth bowler as a kid, I never had good equipment because it was something my mother never could afford to get me, like a nice bowling ball. And it really helped me back a lot, and sometimes I wonder if I would have had better equipment, would I have been able to do better? Because I don't remember what ball I had. I just know it was a hand-me-down from a friend. And of course, like lane conditions and stuff like that, I don't remember anyone talking about that kind of stuff. It's really, I don't know, it's just a totally different world from when I was a youth bowler in the 90s. But the point is that I really am excited to possibly be able to give this ball to someone, and even not necessarily this one, as my career goes on doing this stuff, and I will have more bowling balls, and I will be able to get rid of some of them. It's just really exciting for me to be able to turn these things over to a youth bowler who kind of needs this kind of stuff. So all right, well, yeah, I think that's kind of it for tonight. I didn't have a ton of stuff to go over. I'm gonna be in three leagues for the next few weeks or so, maybe in the next month and a half, because I'm supposed to be covering in a Tuesday night league as well. But yeah, I'm excited to get coached and get some lessons with Dennis tomorrow, and Rob will be there too, and just a lot of really good stuff and furthering this stuff out. I also hope at some point soon to make a video to show off a project that I've been working on that I call Pins Down, and it's a website for tournaments, for managing tournaments, for getting information of them out there. I'm really excited about this. I think this is kind of like my grand opus and why I'm involved in bowling. To program a website, this is my day job. I'm a programmer. So to program a website for bowlers that can really improve how tournaments are run and how people can enter them and stuff like that. But more on that in the future. So, anyways, in the meantime, thanks so much for checking this out. Hopefully, I'll have some cool things to talk about next week. And have a good Monday, everyone. Bye.